All right. How's everybody doing this morning? All right. I'm Richard Whittington, and I have the honor of introducing Dr. Lily D. McNear as she concludes her first year as president of Tuskegee University. This is a milestone in her 30 plus years of academic service in her discipline, conducting research and teaching in her discipline, which is psychology. Before her tenure at Tuskegee University, she enhanced the research infrastructure of Spelman College as Associate Provost of Research and Divisional Coordinator in Science and Mathematics. That was before she actually became Provost and Associate Provost of, Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs at Wagner College. So please give her a round of applause.
It is quite an honor to be here this morning to welcome all of you. This is very exciting for us because, as Dr. Whittington said, I'm concluding my first year here, and it's gone like a whirlwind, but there have been very important milestones and achievements that I think we've demonstrated this year, and this is one of them. Partnerships are the way of the future. We can't do it alone. We need to partner with our allies and other advocates and other firms that have the same goals that we do. And in the area of educating African American physicians, we know that partnering with you, with Rush University School of Medicine, will lead us on a trajectory where we will become one of the highest producing schools that produce African American physicians. We're so pleased that you're here today. We're looking forward to getting to know you through the course of our partnership, and we know that we are developing a beautiful relationship. We're looking forward to hearing more about what you do, and we're looking forward to becoming good friends and colleagues in this process. It's now my honor to introduce our interim provost, Dr. Roberta Troy, who's a professor of biology here at Tuskegee. And she will introduce our biology faculty who are here, and all of our faculty here who support the education of African American physicians. Thank you, Dr. Troy.
Good morning. It's an honor for me to be here, and I'm especially just honored to see one of our former students who is here. I have to say a little bit about Erica Oliver, who was one of my students when I was over the biology department, but she has persevered. I guess that's the word that I want to use, because Erica always knew that she wanted to be a physician. And, she took a route to get there that might have been a little different than most of our students would take, but look where she is today. And so I'm so incredibly proud of her and the work that she's done. But this is who we are, and this is what we do at Tuskegee. We instill in our students that motivation and that ability to persevere against all odds and to continue to strive for excellence. And she has done that, like so many of our students from biology, but also from other areas as well. Chemistry and biology are like sister and brother over in Armstrong Hall, and so we do everything together. And under the College of Arts and Sciences, we just have a really strong relationship with all of our students and faculty. At this time, I would like to introduce the architects of this whole endeavor. And I'm going to introduce our dean from the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Prakash. Our biology faculty, starting with our interim head of biology, Dr. Marcia Martinez. Our interim assistant department head, Dr. Richard Whittington. And our other biology faculty, Dr. Chastity Bradford. Mr. Lawrence Cobb. Let's see, any other biology? Mr. Wise, Mr. Garland Wise. who plays a major role in making sure that our students complete their applications, and he takes them through mock interviews so that they're better prepared to go on to the next level. I'd also like to introduce two people that work in the dean's office, Dr. Kazi, who is the assistant dean, and Dr. Jamay, who is also the assistant dean. And our partner in crime, Dr. Albert Russell, who is the chair of the Department of Chemistry. And so that represents most of us. There are so many more that we could talk about, and so many more students. But I'm really quite proud of what the work that has been done and that continues to be done throughout this university. At this time, I would like to bring Dr. Whittington back up, and he's going to introduce Dr. Wardell. Thank you. Wait. Forgot, didn't see her sitting over there hiding. Miss Kimberly Harris, who is the assistant to the dean. She keeps us all together, so I can't forget her. See, you had to be prominent so I could see.
At this time, I would like to introduce Lisa Wardell, who is currently President and Chief Executive Officer in Global Education. She was appointed in 2016 and is African American female CEO in SP 400 Index. Lisa is an Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer in JLJ Companies, and she is responsible for strategic partnership, mergering, and acquisitions in business. Please give her a round of applause.
Good morning. Thank you. Oh, I love Alabama. Everyone says good morning back. That's great. Thank you for your kind introduction, Dr. Whittington. I would just echo Dr. McNair and Dr. Troy just saying how very excited we all are. You see, we brought quite the contingent. We've been looking forward to this day for some time at both Adtalem Global Education and Ross University School of Medicine. It's truly an honor and a pleasure to be with you all here today and to meet you, and I will echo to become partners and friends. Ross University School of Medicine has been educating physicians for over 40 years, and our mission there is, of course, empowering students to become physicians and then the communities that they serve. So, how fitting is it that we partner with Tuskegee University, which has been doing the very same thing for African Americans in education since 1881. So you have a few years on us, but we're hoping that we can learn from that experience, 147 to be exact. At this time in our nation's history, when only 6% of U.S. physicians are African American, our student African American base is about 16%, Dr. Allen would know, but we want that to continue to increase. At a time in 2018 when the average the U.S. medical schools on average graduated about 8 African American physicians, we graduated 83 at the Ross University School of Medicine. At a time when low resource neighborhoods and communities are really suffering from a lack of minority physicians, we need to do more. We're proud of our numbers, but we need to do more. This partnership between Ross University School of Medicine and Tuskegee University will allow us to increase that pipeline of African American students and, of course, help to reduce their costs of education as they go through their medical education. This kind of collaboration we all know is good for diversity in education. It's good for diversity in the physician workforce, in healthcare and hospital systems in general. But this type of thing does not happen because we all talk about the shortage of physicians, right? This collaboration does not happen that way. The way it happens is because people like Dr. McNair and Dr. William Owen take bold action for change and rally their teams, right, Dr. Prakash, around that bold action, right? And so I have the pleasure today to introduce you to Dr. Owen, who is the Dean and Chancellor of Ross University School of Medicine, who will make some remarks. But first, a few things about Dr. Owen. He was the first African-American chancellor and senior vice president of health affairs at the University of Tennessee. He was the president of the University of Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey, Rutgers, big system, CEO of Sidra Medical and Research Center in Qatar, which is the international training site for Weill Cornell Medical College, and health policy advisor to the president and International Association of University Presidents, which advises the United Nations on higher education. Dr. Owen holds an undergraduate degree from Brown University, a Doctor of Medicine from Tufts University, and was trained in internal medicine and nephrology at the Harvard Medical School, where he was a Robert Wood Johnson Foundation Fellow. And even though, he's not that qualified, we were like, let's just have him run our medical school because he's a great guy and we all like him. So without further ado, Dr. William Owen.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hate to start a meeting like this with an apology, but I must apologize for our being late. My Vice President of Operations hadn't spent a lot of time down south. So I wanted to give him a good Southern cultural experience. So we were at the Waffle House. And them eggs and grits were good. Ross is honored and delighted to be so graciously welcomed on this occasion this morning. Signing of a powerful and unique collaborative agreement between Tuskegee and Ross University School of Medicine. Two extraordinary educational institutions whose graduates are the living embodiment of social justice that is forged through educational opportunity. That's what we're about. We intend to further illuminate a path to personal advancement and achievement by leveraging attributes that are very deep within our institutional DNA. My mama taught me that there are three straightforward but powerful elements of personal betterment and societal progress: faith, family, and education. First two are bestowed on us at birth. The third ingredient, educational attainment, is far too often inaccessible because of unforeseen life circumstances. As Lisa often expresses it very aptly and very deeply, quote, "Sometimes life gets in the way," end quote. It's a vexing exclusion to participation, often because of life circumstances alone, that especially impact our young women and men of color. And the challenge is exaggerated, as many of us know, in certain geographical pockets of America that blemish the landscapes of our communities like a piece of rot on very sweet fruit. But here today, publicly witness in the presence of those who are going to hold us accountable, the aspiring students of Tuskegee and the communities that they will serve, the senior-most leaders of Tuskegee, of Adtalem, and at Ross, are saying that we're going to fix disparate access to professional careers in medicine and so minimize health disparities that have scarred my profession over the last several decades, where there are now fewer men of color than there were 35 years ago. Medical universities like Ross view ourselves as having a societal obligation, and that is to do more than develop good doctors. That's a table bet. It's pedestrian. Ross's raison d'etre is reflected in our credo. Quote, "Access to a high-quality medical education is a right, not a privilege." To execute on this requires a like-minded partner of prestige like Tuskegee, that itself has challenged conventional wisdom about education and the output to expect from it. The execution today of this extraordinary memorandum of understanding confirms the seriousness of the commitment of our two fine institutions, very alike, but also very different, and there is the power. We're going to create a medical workforce that can mend America's ills by looking into America and making certain that we're grooming primary caregivers and people that look like America itself. I want to conclude with a quote from Dr. Scott Morris, who is the iconoclastic CEO of Church Health, which is one of America's most successful faith-based healthcare ministries, who famously said, quote, "Every doctor in America learned their art on the body of a poor person," end quote. Don't we have an obligation to give back, to nurture the creation of a medical workforce that recognizes a moral imperative to pay it forward by abolishing health disparities? Those of us here who are of AARP age, and I've been there a while, I was able to get Carrie a discount at breakfast. We want doctors who are smart, humanistic, and compassionate, who understand the woman and the man just as much as they understand the disease. Ross and Tuskegee, together we'll create such doctors. Thank you for your attention. I want to introduce one of those doctors, Dr. Erica Oliver, who is a remarkable, yes, you are young, a remarkable young woman who is pursuing pediatrics in Michigan. She is completing her first year of residency. We call it intern hell in medicine. Erica, if you could please join us.
Had to put my white coat on. I worked hard for it. So I first stepped foot on Tuskegee University campus at Spring Open House in 2007. I was greeted with the warmest of hugs by Miss Barbara Howard. Rest in peace. From that hug, I knew that I would be attending Tuskegee, and I was becoming a part of another family. Throughout my time at Tuskegee, Dr. Troy got me through biology. Dr. Russell, thank you, you got me through organic chemistry. Mrs. Champion, who was my dorm mom, got me through Whitehall. Dr. Martinez, I remember you from genetics. Mr. Duncan and the MCP had me rocking under the shed at every game. My time at Tuskegee was unmatched and prepared me for my journey to become a doctor. My journey to become a doctor was difficult. Taking the MCAT and applying to medical school was one of my biggest hurdles. I took the MCAT 4 times, and I applied to medical school 3 times. Despite my well-rounded application, one number was continuously used against me, the MCAT. Cue the evil, scary music. So I got fed up. I knew I wanted to be a physician, and standing in those long, fun hours in line at the bursar, only to move over and wait for financial aid, taught me patience and perseverance. I began to research other options that could allow me to reach my goal. What Google presented to me was osteopathic schools and Caribbean medical schools. So I clicked on one. And you all know how Google works. You click on one thing and you see it forever. Fortunately, I saw ads for Ross University. And I saw that they were doing an informational session in Atlanta, where I reside. And so I immediately signed up. Ross University was no doubt the best place for me to attend medical school. Although Ross is now located on the beautiful island of Barbados, we were originally on the natural beauty known as Dominica. I want to say thank you to Dominica and everything it had to offer. Ross University provided me with all the educational tools and support I could ever need to become successful. Via the simulation labs, the amazing faculty from all over the earth, and lectures. Personally, I was a media citer. The board review courses, clinical support, and the various track locations where we were able to do our clinical rotations. There was just so much to offer. Now, of course, medical school is not a smooth walk in the park. Medical school in general is difficult no matter where you're located. You have to learn time management, trying to consume a surplus amount of knowledge in a short period of time, and experiencing life in a new place and new culture can be difficult for some. However, faculty and peer support was strong at Ross University, and I appreciate them for that. Within my first year of course, Tuskegee came to visit me in Dominica. Dr. Whittington presented to campus with representatives from other schools. I remember receiving the email saying that a representative from Tuskegee was coming, and I freaked. I was so excited. I actually thought it was going to be you, Mr. Wise. So during his time there, we spoke about how when I was a student, I wish I had knew about Ross University as another option. And an option that's just as competitive as going to a U.S. medical school. And we discussed me potentially in the future speaking to Tuskegee students about Ross, letting them know about my time there and that there are other options out there. To end, I was on Facebook. I saw Ross post about their collaboration with FAMU. I was very jealous. I shared the post and added my comment of what about Tuskegee? Little did I know that the partnership was already in the works. Increasing the number of minority physicians and contributing to the fight against physician shortage is highly important to me. What's also important to me, to step back, I matched at my #1 residency spot. I am at Authority Health, which is also located in the Children's Hospital of Michigan. And Authority Health focuses on working with the underserved communities, and that is highly important to me. And what I chose to go to Detroit because I wanted to be in an area with faces that looked like me, so that the children could see a face that looked like them and know that they had something to look forward to. They had something to strive for, something they could be. So increasing the number of minority physicians is highly important, just as important as fighting against physician shortage. So thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to be a part of this amazing collaboration, and I'm so happy to be home at Mother Tuskegee. Thank you.
A few months ago when I received an email from David saying that Ross University is interested in linking up with Tuskegee, and I looked up Ross and I was very impressed, and it seems logical. This was something that we should have done long back, but it's better late than never, and we're moving forward, and I think this is really a historic day, as it was told. I just wanted to say that we work with every one of our students, but this year about 1,200 students applied to major in biology. Probably about 300 or 400 students applied to major in chemistry. And we have psychology, even chemical engineering, other areas who go into medicine. But after 4 years, we only have a handful of students going into medicine. And we want to increase that number. We want to work with Ross to see how we can increase the number. And as Dr. Oliver said, that this is not going to be a walk in the park, but we want to learn from you as to what it takes to help our students to get there to Ross and many other medical colleges, but also into biomedical research, because there's only 3% of African Americans are currently involved in biomedical research, as Dr. McNair was. And so this is a great opportunity for our students and a historic one, and we want to work with you. And we also know that you have a great resource at Ross, your faculty, and you have promised that you're going to help bring that faculty virtually, physically, to help mentor our students. And I think that is the way to go, because it is working with students day in and day out, walking with them in many areas, holding them to a very high standard that many of our faculty do, is what gets them into the fine medical colleges like Ross and others. And for that reason, I'm really, really thankful to all of you who are here, who especially I'm grateful to our president for her willingness to move forward with this new partnership, and our Dr. Troy, who has always been very, very supportive. And I want to thank Ms. Lisa Wardell, the CEO of the Adtalem Global Education, the parent company that owns the Ross University School of Medicine, and of course, the Dean, William Owen, who made his time to come all the way from over there to Tuskegee. And as always, we are proud of our alumni, especially high achievers like Dr. Erica Natasha Oliver. Thank you for coming and saying a few words. And we move forward. Thank you.